period of bilingual overlap of active Sumerian and Akkadian usage, the two languages influenced each other, as reflected in numerous loanwords and even word order changes. 33. Transcription. This protoliterate tablet, c. 3100–2900 BC, records the transfer of a piece of land. Walter's Art Museum, Baltimore. The first known Sumerian Akkadian bilingual tablet dates from the reign of Ramush. Louvre Museum, AO 5477. The top half is in Sumerian, the bottom half is its translation in Akkadian. 7. 8. Letter sent by the high priest Luenato, the king of Lagash, maybe Urukagina, informing him of his son's death in combat. c. 2400 BC, found in Tello, ancient Gursu, vase of Entemena, king of Lagash, with dedication. Louvre, AO 2674 c. 2400 BC. Depending on the context, a cuneiform sign can be read either as one of several possible logograms, each of which corresponds to a word in the Sumerian spoken language, as a phonetic syllable, v, vc, cv, or cvc, or as a determinative, a marker of semantic category, such as occupation or place. See the article Transliterating Cuneiform Languages. Some Sumerian logograms were written with multiple cuneiform signs. These logograms are called dira spellings, after the logogram diri, which is written with the signs psi and a. The text transliteration of a tablet will show just the logograms, such as the word diri, not the separate component signs. Not all epigraphists are equally reliable, and before publication of an important treatment of a text, scholars will often arrange to collate the published transcription against the actual tablet, to see if any signs, especially broken or damaged signs, should be represented differently. Historiography. The key to reading logosyllabic cuneiform came from the Bahishchan inscription, a trilingual cuneiform inscription written in Old Persian, Elamite and Akkadian. In a similar manner, the key to understanding Egyptian hieroglyphs was the bilingual Greek and Egyptian, with the Egyptian text in two scripts, Rosetta Stone and Jean-François Champollion's transcription in 1822. In 1838, Henry Rawlinson, building on the 1802 work of Georg Friedrich Grotefend, was able to decipher the Old Persian section of the Bahishchan inscriptions, using his knowledge of modern Persian. When he recovered the rest of the text in 1843, he and others were gradually able to translate the Elamite and Akkadian sections of it, starting with the 37 signs he had deciphered for the Old Persian. Meanwhile, many more cuneiform texts were coming to light from archaeological excavations, mostly in the Semitic Akkadian language, which were duly deciphered. By 1850, however, Edward Hincks came to suspect a non-Semitic origin for cuneiform. Semitic languages are structured according to consonantal forms, whereas cuneiform, when functioning phonetically, was a syllabary, binding consonants to particular vowels. Furthermore, no Semitic words could be found to explain the syllabic values given to particular signs. 36. Julius Apert suggested that a non-Semitic language had preceded Akkadian in Mesopotamia, and that speakers of this language had developed the cuneiform script. In 1855, Rawlinson announced the discovery of non-Semitic inscriptions at the southern Babylonian sites of Nippur, Nersa and Uruk. In 1856, Hincks argued that the untranslated language was agglutinative in character. The language was called Scufic by some, and, confusingly, Akkadian by others. In 1869, Apert proposed the name Sumerian, based on the known title King of Sumer and Akkad, reasoning that if Akkad signified the Semitic portion of the kingdom, Sumer might ascribe the non-Semitic annex. Credit for being first to scientifically treat a bilingual Sumerian Akkadian text belongs to Paul Haupt, who published the Sumeriskin family and Gezetes, the Sumerian family laws, In 1879.37, Ernest de Sarzeau began excavating the Sumerian site of Tello, ancient Gersu, capital of the state of Lagash, in 1877, and published the first part of Dikuvatsi Enchildi with transcriptions of Sumerian tablets in 1884. The University of Pennsylvania began excavating Sumerian Nippur in 1888. A classified list of Sumerian ideographs by R. Bruno appeared in 1889. The bewildering number and variety of phonetic values that signs could have in Sumerian led to a detour in understanding language. A Paris-based Orientalist, Joseph Halevi, argued from 1874 onward that Sumerian was not a natural language, but rather a secret code, a cryptolect, and for over a decade the leading Assyriologists battled over this issue. For a dozen years, starting in 1885, Friedrich Delitzsch accepted Halevi's arguments, not renouncing Halevi until 1897. 38. François Rodangin, working at the Louvre in Paris, also made significant contributions to deciphering Sumerian with publications from 1898 to 1938, such as his 1905 publication of Les Inscriptions de Sumer et d'Arcade. Charles Fossey at the Collège de France in Paris was another prolific and reliable scholar. His pioneering contribution or Dictionnaire Sumerian Assyrian, Paris 1905-1907, turns out to provide the foundation for P. Anton Daimel's 1934 Sumerische Archaicisches Glossar, Volume 3 of Daimel's 4-volume Sumerisches Lexicon. In 1908, Stephen Herbert Langdon summarized the rapid expansion in knowledge of Sumerian and Akkadian vocabulary in the pages of Babyloniaca, a journal edited by Charles Vierelode, in an article Sumerian Assyrian Vocabularies, which reviewed a valuable new book on rare logograms by Bruno Meissner. 39. Subsequent scholars have found Langdon's work, including his tablet transcriptions, to be not entirely reliable. In 1944, the Sumerologist Samuel Noah Kramer provided a detailed and readable summary of the decipherment of Sumerian in his Sumerian Mythology. 40. Friedrich Delitzsch published a learned Sumerian dictionary and grammar in the form of his Sumerisches Glossar and Grundzüge der Sumerischen Grammatik, both appearing in 1914. Delitzsch's student, Arno Pobel, published a grammar with the same title, Grundzüge der Sumerischen Grammatik, in 1923, and for 50 years it would be the standard for students studying Sumerian. Pobel's grammar was finally superseded in 1984 on the publication of the Sumerian language, An Introduction to Its History and Grammatical Structure, by Marie-Louise Thomson. While much of Thomson's understanding of Sumerian grammar would later be rejected by most or all Sumerologists, Thomson's grammar, often with express mention of the critiques put forward by Pascal Attinger in his 1993 Elements de Linguistique Sumérienne, La Construction de du 11/E/D dia, is the starting point of most recent academic discussions of Sumerian grammar. More recent monograph-length grammars of Sumerian include Diet Soto Edzard's 2003 Sumerian Grammar and Bram Yagisma's 2010 Descriptive Grammar of Sumerian, currently digital, but soon to be printed in revised form by Oxford University Press. Piotr Michalowski's essay, entitled, simply, Sumerian, in the 2004 The Cambridge Encyclopedia of the World's Ancient Languages has also been recognized as a good modern grammatical sketch. Sumero-Akkadian cuneiform syllabary left. Sumero-Akkadian cuneiform syllabary, used by early Akkadian rulers. 34, right, seal of Akkadian Empire Rulanarum Sin, reversed for readability, c. 2250 BC. The name of Naram Sin, Akkadian, DNA Naram Sin, Sin being written en.zu, appears vertically in the right column. 35. British Museum. There is relatively little consensus, even among reasonable Sumerologists, in comparison to the state of most modern or classical languages. Verbal morphology, in particular, is hotly disputed. In addition to the general grammars, there are many monographs and articles about particular areas of Sumerian grammar, without which a survey of the field could not be considered complete. The primary institutional lexical effort in Sumerian is the Pennsylvania Sumerian Dictionary Project, begun in 1974. In 2004, the PSD was released on the web as CPSD. The project is currently supervised by Steve Tinney. It has not been updated online since 2006, but Tinney and colleagues are working on a new edition of the EPSD, a working draft of which is available online. Phonology. Assumed phonological or morphological forms will be between slashes // with plain text used for the standard Assyriological transcription of Sumerian. Most of the following examples are unattested. Phonemic inventory. Modern knowledge of Sumerian phonology is flawed and incomplete because of the lack of speakers, the transmission through the filter of Akkadian phonology, and the difficulties posed by the cuneiform script. As I.M. Diakonoff observes, when we try to find out the morphophonological structure of the Sumerian language, we must constantly bear in mind that we are not dealing with the language directly but are reconstructing it from a very imperfect mnemonic writing system which had not been basically aimed at the rendering of morphophonemics. 41. Consonants. Sumerian is conjectured to have at least the following consonants: Sumerian consonant phonemes bilabial alveolar postalveolar velar glot all nasal mnng plosive eclin btdkg a aspirated pttkk fricatives sx tilde hh a affricateplin tes z aspirated tes tilde dr tapar liquidal l semivowel a simple distribution of 6 stop consonants in 3 places of articulation distinguished by aspiration. The later stages may have featured voicing, tongue poking, smiling, voiceless aspirated bilabial plosive. T. Voiceless aspirated alveolar plosive. K. Voiceless aspirated velar plosive. As a rule, /p//, /t/, and /k/ did not occur. Word finally. 42. B. Voiced unaspirated bilabial plosive. D. Voiced unaspirated alveolar plosive. G. Voiced unaspirated velar plosive. A phoneme usually represented by and, lt, and gt, sometimes written dr, that was probably a voiceless aspirated alveolar affricate. This phoneme later became /d// or /r/ in northern and southern dialects, respectively. A simple distribution of 3 nasal consonants in similar distribution to the stops m, bilabial nasal, n, alveolar nasal, g, frequently printed g due to typesetting constraints, increasingly transcribed as // likely a velar nasal, as in sing. It has also been to be a labiovelar nasal, or a nasalized labiovelar. 43. A set of 3 sibilants s, likely a voiceless alveolar fricative. Z, likely a voiceless unaspirated alveolar affricate. /ts/, as shown by Akkadian loans from /s/sad smiley ts, to Sumerian /z/. In early Sumerian, this would have been the unaspirated counterpart to and, lt, and gt. 44. Generally described as a voiceless post-alveolar fricative, // as in ship. A velar fricative, /x/, sometimes written and, lth, and gt. 2 liquid consonants L, a lateral consonant. A rhotic consonant. The existence of various other consonants has been hypothesized based on graphic alternations and loans, though none have found wide acceptance. For example, Diakonoff lists evidence for 2 lateral phonemes, 2 rhotics, 2 back fricatives, and 2 G sounds, excluding the vowel nasal, and assumes a phonemic difference between consonants that are dropped word finally, such as the G in zag and GTs of 3, and consonants that remain, such as the G in lag. Other hidden consonant phonemes that have been suggested include semivowels such as /J/ and //